Hello guys, I am here today to give you kind of a walkthrough and demonstration of my control panel, the M301, that's the model number. In this video I'm going to go over a few different aspects, some facts, and a little bit of how it works. I won't go too far into detail because I don't really want anyone to copy my design, even though it's kind of simple. That is for those of you who know how relays work, and you'll understand why I said that later in the video. Now, I'm going to go a little bit into detail about what the model number is supposed to be. The panels started off with the M25, which never actually made it to video. That was basically just a single latching relay. That's it. No audible silence, no coding, no zones, nothing. Then I upgraded to the M100, which was two latching relays for audible silence and the regular latching relay. And then there was the M101-1. That was the panel that made its showcase in System Test 4, 5, and 6. And that panel was a complete piece of junk. It had the March time issue where it was too fast sometimes. It ran on two 9-volt batteries, so they died pretty quickly. And the buttons sometimes didn't work correctly, which is actually a problem that never showed up on video, but it did happen. Okay, so, and now then it came up to the M300. I skipped over 200 for some reason. And that was the panel pretty much all as it is now. And then I upgraded to M301. And that's because I added smoke detector compatibility. So this panel, it's a pretty basic panel for what it does. It's got, let me think here, it has two latching relays, and then two latching relays and 7 normal relays, and then one relay that is actually cycling between different time settings. That's that relay. You can see I'm using a laser pointer here. And this relay, what it does is you can actually set it between 0.1 seconds, or on the other side here, it can be up to 10 seconds. And to get march time, you have it set to 0.25, otherwise known as 1/4 of a second on and 1/4 of a second off. Yeah, that's how that relay works. And then I have a system sensor sync module to get me code 3. So basically what happens up here with the coding. What happens up here with the coding is a single wire goes up to that switch there, and then it splits off to that one and that one. Now, depending on which direction the switch is facing, it will be set to either this switch or this switch, and depending on which direction this switch is facing, as you can see, it has continuous code 3, custom, which I'll get to in a minute, and march time. That will be the code that the panel is in. Now, the way the coding works is not very genius. So basically the power goes up here, then it goes, well, I guess for demonstration purposes, I'll put that down. It goes up here, then it goes down here, then it goes out to this relay. So there you can see the power comes in through that red wire down there. You can't actually see where it goes in. And then it comes out through this orange wire here. And that orange wire goes to this relay. And the way this relay works is, depending on which item is pulsing, that relay will turn on. So literally every single coding goes to that relay, and depending on which direction the switch is facing, that's what will pulse the relay. So now when you actually pull a pull station, that's the relay, that's a latching relay right there. That will turn on and it will stay on until the power is actually cut to it. I'll demonstrate. So you can see now that relay is on, that relay is on, that relay is actually on, because that's kind of an auxiliary, I guess is what I would call it, because this relay powers this relay. When this relay is on, this one will be on, so that way you can have more than just two connections on either side, so you can have 1, 2, 3, 4. And you could see zone 1 is activated because I turned on the Gamewell Sentry there. And the way the zones work is, the zones are not on their own types of latching relays, mainly because I didn't have enough space to do that. Also, I didn't have enough relays. Building the M500, that's going to have those though. So you can see, if I turn off the pull station, that turns off. The pull stations actually go to a relay as well. You can hear, if I turn on and off the pull station, a relay will turn on. Which relay is that? I don't know. No, when you reset the panel, the reset button will turn on this relay. This relay literally does nothing but control this one. Now, why did I do that? I did that because the reset button is normally open, but the reset button has to be normally closed. So I have down here what I think might be called a NOT gate, using this here. The way walk test works is it goes up to that switch, and this switch is actually, this switch is cool. What this switch does is you can either push it up a little bit and it'll actually act like a button, but then you can push it all the way up. And what that will do is that will turn on this relay, which will disable the latching function for this relay, so that whenever you hold on here, let me put this in continuous and silence it so you can see the alarm LED. So you could see the relay won't latch anymore, and it'll just turn off immediately. And then when you turn it off, it comes back on. Not very difficult at all. Silence, I don't even have to demonstrate or explain silence. Silence comes from that relay down there that's behind the terminal block. That's just another latching relay that's actually slightly different from this one, in that I didn't actually wire it correctly. So when you press the silence button, the light actually turns off, which was a mistake on my part. But okay, so that's that relay there. That's the newest one. That controls the power going to the smoke detectors, or smoke detector, because there's only one of them. No, that wasn't me hinting at a surprise. There's only one. Yeah. So that goes to the smoke detector. That controls the power going to the smoke detectors, so that when you press the reset button, this relay will turn on, cutting the power to the smoke detectors, and then that will turn the it'll turn the smoke detector off, and then it won't have power anymore. Now, the way I got Trouble to work was, actually, if you come with me, I can show you. So here's the smoke detector, system sensor I34WT-B. If we take it off the base here, you can see there it is, and the trouble lights come on, as you can see. What I've got going on here is those clear wires going in here and here are the zone, and you can see they go out at that side and they go down to the 4251 21L, and then it comes up to here where you can see we have a white wire, a red wire, and another red wire. This red wire and this white wire are the power, and this red wire comes out of a second plus terminal that is actually meant to go to the next smoke detector down the line. But what it actually does is it goes back to the panel, and it powers another relay in the panel that controls trouble. So when that doesn't have any power going out of it, the relay turns on and it turns on the trouble light. I tried to wire a buzzer to it, but for some reason it decided to be stubborn and just didn't work. And there's no latching function in the relay for the trouble LED either. As you can see, it turned itself off. And the trouble relay is this one right here. That resistor there goes to the trouble LED, and that's the red wire coming out of the smoke detector. What else? What else is there? So that's pretty much it. Something I didn't mention is that the panel is powered by two 12-volt, 2-amp power supplies. And, oh, I almost forgot. Listen, I'm sure you've learned by now that relays will literally solve all the world's problems. Watch this. This is actually really cool. Look what this panel can do. You can see it's currently in continuous. You can switch the codes at any time you want. So you can see it's in code 3. Now it's in March time. And that's, honestly, I think that's a pretty cool. That's pretty cool. And you can hear that's the relay clicking right there. It's pretty loud. And then that turns the coding off when it's in the middle, so that the horns don't actually pulse. And then you just reset. So, okay, so I actually have a few more things to talk about. I want to talk about features that are going to be in the next panel, which is the M350. It's in the very early development stages. One thing that's going to be part of it is the 2-stage system. I didn't manage to get to that with this panel because of school, and I really don't feel like digging through that jungle there, so I want to try to rebuild. I want to turn walk test into a push button, so that you push it, walk test is on, and then you push it again and walk test is off. I know that sounds kind of stupid, but it's just something I want. 2-stage, as I mentioned, and verification. And then the custom, which is going to be on the next panel, a custom code option, which will work like the simplex card-based panels, which is something I was very excited for, but I was just never able to get to because I couldn't get another one of these because they're so dang expensive. They're like $47 for one of them. And then the next one will also have an updated frame here. New Age Server Alarm actually commented on my last video, which is like the most exciting thing in the world. And he's told me to get a piece of plexiglass and spray paint it white and put it here instead of having the 2 wall plates, which is actually a very good idea and is something I did not think of. So I'm actually going to do that. But it's going to be for the next panel. And the next panel will come out sometime later this year, maybe by summertime, I think. So, if you're watching this, New Age Server Alarm, and if you've actually managed to get through all 21 minutes of this video, yeah, that's probably not going to happen for a little bit because of things like school, but it's going to come out. It's going to happen at some point, and yeah. So I guess that is it. That's the panel.